Hi guys, Doug here from VB Engineering, and today I'm going to be going over an installation guide for our new front splitter for our VB Subaru WRX. Now, front splitters are very effective at generating a huge amount of front downforce with a very low drag penalty. The front splitter that we've designed here works best with our Ventus 2 package, which is coming out, along with the front dive planes, the rear splitter, rear diffuser should I say, and the rear wing that's in design currently. These are the tools that you're going to require to do this job. You're going to need a drill, a 1/8 inch drill bit for a pilot hole, a 1/4 inch drill bit, some tape, a 10mm spanner, an 11mm spanner and a 15mm spanner. You're going to need a 10mm and a 12mm socket, a H4, so a 4mm Allen key socket, a 5mm Allen key socket, a ratchet, a small flathead screwdriver, or if you do have a clip removal tool, you can use that, an extension for the ratchet, a center punch, and a hammer. Okay, so these are the components that are going to be included in our front splitter kit. So you're going to have two halves of the splitter. So this is one half, and the good thing about this is it's completely symmetrical. So you can't go wrong with your installation. You're just going to flip it over, and then you're going to have a full splitter assembly like that. So it comes in two pieces. You have this front splitter bracing, which is going to connect the two pieces, as well as this rear one. We are going to revise the alignment holes and fitting location of this, but it's going to go like that, so there'll be two holes instead of the one here. We have these clevises, and then we also have these struts for the clevis, which is going to bolt to the crash structure, the front crash structure behind the front bumper, and then what's going to happen is you're going to slide this underneath there, one clevis on there, bolt it up from the bottom, and like that it's going to bolt to the front crash structure. We also require a little spacer for the strut to make it fit correctly, otherwise it's going to be too short. And that's it really. They're the core components for installing the front splitter on your VB WRX. These are the components that you're going to need for the air dam kit. As you can see, it's really simple. You're just going to have each half of the air dam, and then you're going to have 85 inches of the seal that sits on top of the air dam. So when it's installed, it's going to sit on top of it like that. You're also going to have a little hardware bag as well with all of the nuts and bolts that you're going to need to install it. And it really is as simple as that. So the first step for us is to remove the front bumper. So let's figure out how we go about doing that. We're going to start by removing the front under tray. So we're going to be removing these two 12mm bolts, and then there's a series of plastic clips. Once all of those have been removed, the under tray comes off really easily. Next, we're going to remove both of the front side under trays. So there's a few plastic clips again, a 10mm screw, and then some more plastic clips up here as well. Next, don't forget to unplug the connector for the front fog lights. Next, we're going to remove these 10mm bolts and these plastic clips. Also, don't forget to purchase your VB Engineering caps. We have them for pretty much everything. Then just pull firmly on the bumper here. Next, I'm going to be showing you how to install these riv nuts in the front bumper here and also in the front under tray bracket. And we're going to be using this tool that is supplied with the kit. As you can see, I've put some grease on the threads. That's going to help to prevent any corrosion inside the riv nut, and also the tool gets very hot when operating it, so that's going to help prevent any warping there. For the front bumper, you're going to want to bend the plastic out of the way there. Then it's just a case of tightening up the tool. You're going to need a 5mm Allen key, and you're going to need a 15mm wrench or spanner. You just need to go until it gets tight, like here, and then you can wind it out. There's 3 of these to install in the front bumper. This one, another one here, and then another one down here. You can actually see here how that tool has flared out the riv nut, and that's what keeps it secure. To fit a riv nut in here, you're going to need to use a 3/8" drill bit or a 10mm drill bit, just to extend the size of the hole so the riv nut can fit in. Then underneath the car here, we're going to be doing 1, 2, 3 on this side, and then the same again on the other side. As you can see, I've already installed one here. So next we're going to fit these splitter supports, and what you need to do is line up, just get a straight edge of any kind, line up this hole in the front splitter and go straight up. You're going to end up between 2 welds here, and just get a marker and just mark right between the 2 welds, which is 1, 2, so between the second and third in from this piece of rubber. Mark right in between those 2, and that's where we're going to be drilling. Now, before you start drilling into the front crash bar of your nice Subaru, make sure that you use a punch just to locate the center point of where we will be drilling, which will prevent the drill bit from wandering when you start. So there we go, we've drilled a pilot hole with a small drill bit first, and then we're going to size up to something larger, bearing in mind that this is an M6 bolt that we're going to put through here, so it just needs to be bigger than that. So now I have my 1/4" drill bit, or 6.5mm drill bit, and I do apologise that I use metric, but that's what I'm used to, so you're just going to have to get used to it as I learn the Imperial system. Another tip, so this is a case of do as I say, not necessarily do as I do. If you want to make it easier when it comes to cleaning up and prevent iron filings from falling onto the bracket here, you can just put some paper down. There you go, all of the metal shavings are caught. If only I'd done that sooner. So now we have our hole drilled, we're going to take our M6 by 10mm bolt and our clevis and just do it finger tight. We're not going to do it tighter than finger tight because we need to get the turnbuckle support lined up. And then we're going to do the same here with our 20mm Allen key bolts and our other clevis. Just needs to be finger tight. And then we need, to get the correct length, we need an extension. So if I was you, I would hide that up here because it's going to be hidden by the bumper. And we're just going to put the hardware in one end. So if we just put a nut and a bolt down here, and then we're going to extend it until we can get it in the top here. There we go. Then we tighten everything down, and then we can adjust. Hopefully you can pick it up on camera. As we tighten and loosen this, the splitter can be finely tuned to get the correct angle. Okay, once we're happy with the placement of these clevises and the strut bars, we're then going to tighten it up. So that's a 10mm spanner or wrench and a 4mm Allen key. Just tighten it up there, and then again at the back. Do that on both sides. And then, because we need to refit the bumper to fully install the splitter, we are going to be removing the actual splitter. So we're going to disconnect at the lower end here. I can just get on this bolt. Got there in the end. Tighten that up. Yeah, so then we're going to disconnect here, basically disassemble all of it other than this, but that won't take long because there's only a few bolts holding it in right now. And then we're going to fit the bumper and then fit everything else, and then we're basically done. So hopefully you can see that at the back of the splitter here there is another securing plate for the splitter. It's structural. So that is again just two M6 Allen key bolts using a 4mm Allen key and then an M6 nut, and then you just get that in place and tighten it up. It's a bit tricky to get your fingers in there, but it's not too bad. This is what it looks like from underneath, so all you see is the Allen key bolts and the washers. As you can see here, we also installed a front lower strengthening bracket for the splitter. It essentially turns a two-piece splitter into a single-piece splitter. It just bolts directly with Allen key bolts again up through where we installed the clevises or clevi. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not that clevi, clearly. And the benefit of this as well, when we lower or remove the splitter, because we need to refit the front bumper before we can bolt everything back together, we've essentially turned it into a one piece, which does make it a little easier. Alright, so now you can see that we've refitted the bumper and we've made sure to get the struts in the correct location, that second gap in the front grille from the side on the top. And now it's just a case of getting the front splitter, offering it up. Don't do anything up tight first, just get it all sort of loose. I'm going to be using my 15mm spacer, 45mm bolts in these two just to get it up initially, and then I can fill in all the other bolts. It's very helpful if you have a friend who can help you here, but you can do it on your own. Don't do it like that. Okay, so now we have got those in place finally. We're just going to go around and fill in all of the others. And actually a little tip for you, when you're fitting the splitter, if you put the bolts in from inside to out, it gives you a little more flex, which makes it a little easier to get the spacers in along with the bolts. Now that we are happy with the fitment and we have tightened up all of the bolts, we can see that the splitter is securely fitted. I just want to bring your attention to one thing. Where we've mounted our splitter supports, they are just touching on the front grille. It's entirely up to you. You can take a Dremel to it and remove some material. We really don't think that there's any need to do that. If you wanted to, you could try to mount the inner clevis a little higher, but then you'll run into an issue where there's a piece of foam on the front crash bar, so you might not even be able to mount it any higher. Or you could try mounting it at an angle if you really didn't want it to touch the grille at all, but we're happy with it just barely touching. And that is it. The splitter is installed. One last thing, just don't forget to tighten the supports up. So you need to get a spanner on the nut at either end, and then you just twist the inner part in the opposite direction. And that's it. Right, so next up we're going to be installing these air dams. They come in two pieces like the splitter. It's really easy to line up because we have that center line from the two-piece splitter. But now you're probably wondering, why do I need air dams? Well, we've got this lovely new splitter fitted and we want it to be as efficient as possible, and that we want the airflow to be as optimized as possible. So currently, with no air dams, the airflow comes to the underside and the overside, but on top of the splitter here, we're going to get airflow go into this gap, which is going to create turbulent flow, and there's going to be boundary separation. The airflow will be less optimized into other areas of the car as well. So essentially it just makes your front splitter less efficient if we don't have an air dam. When we put the air dam in place, if I just offer it up very quickly, we close that gap. So that means that we're going to have airflow coming over the splitter, up and into the air condenser and the radiator, and we're going to have it outwashing down the side of the car, which is going to improve our drag as well. So it's basically essential that we fit these to optimize the front splitter. So installing the air dam is really easy. The first thing you want to do is get it lined up. So you can't quite see over on the right hand side here, but it is in the center of the splitter. And then what you want to do is just take a pen with a fine point and trace the outline, and then also where each fastening point is, you're going to just make a little mark which you will be using later to help drill the holes. Now as we come to a bend, for example, you just want to bend the air dam. It's made out of malleable metal, so it's designed to bend. There can be some quite complex geometry for bends, like this part here, so you're going to go like in, out, and then in again, but just try your best. Alright, so now that we have marked up both sides, we need to remove the splitter, and I promise this will be the last time, but we should be really good at it by now, so we'll see how quickly we can do this. Alright, so now we've got the splitter removed from the car. Hopefully you can see on this side I've already drilled the holes and fitted the air dam. I'm just going to show you how I go about drilling the holes on this side. So I've marked them all up by placing the air dam on, lining it up with the line that I drew earlier, and then just drawing a circle in each locating hole. Then I'm just simply going to drill a pilot hole in each hole. I'll just do one quickly, and then I got to about 1/4 of an inch, or roughly 7 millimeters, I think. I'm still getting used to imperial measurements, guys, so I do apologize. Should just come over to the metric system, it makes way more sense. Anyway, so drill that through. It's really easy material to drill through, and then do that for each one, and then just remove the tape, get a nut and a bolt on the bottom and a nut on the top, and then just get it sort of finger tight so that when we get it onto the car we can just tighten it up really easily. Simple as that. Now we've got the air dam installed, we just have to tighten up the 4mm Allen key bolts underneath, because we just did them finger tight, so basically got it so it was touching and there was a bit of resistance, but now we're happy with it. Just go around each one and tighten them up. Okay, so now for a finishing final touch, we're going to install the seal for the air dam. So if I can get this close enough to the camera for you and get it in focus, you can see it's just a rubber seal with a slit in the middle of it. So we're going to feed that slit over the entire air dam. We might need to pull the splitter down just to give us a little gap to feed it into at points, but we're going to do that. So if I just start here, you can see, start at the end of the air dam, and then work your way around and just push it on pretty quick. It shouldn't only take you a minute or two to do the whole of the front splitter air dam. Okay, so now that we've installed the front air dam seal, that is the end of the installation. I personally think that the seal being fitted makes a huge difference to the look of the car. I think it just looks much sleeker, and it really is the perfect finishing touch, in my opinion at least. I think you'll agree with me though. And that also concludes the installation for the front air dam, and we've also gone over the installation for the front splitter. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. You can call us on our phone number, which is on the website, I don't know it off by heart, and you can contact us via email at sales@veris-engineering.com, and we'll be happy to answer any question you have. But for now, that concludes the installation here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.